All right, here we are. Hi, everybody. We are here today to explore a little bit of the Adriatic jewel, which is Croatia. And I am Gervie from Suitcase Gals, and we also have Leslie. Leslie, you want to say hello? We've got
Hi,
Leslie.
everybody.
So
Welcome
good
to
to be
our
here.
broadcast.
Thank you. And we also have Sandra Rodovic is here today with Adventures Croatia.
Hello, everybody.
And we're taking a phenomenal tour over to Croatia this October. And we're really excited about this trip. And I've had lots of questions about the trip and some details and a little bit more about like where is Croatia or what is Croatia? And we thought it'd be really nice to bring over one of our tour leaders with us, who is Sandra, who's actually helped us create this phenomenal trip for October. So, what I wanted to do, give you a little bit about Suitcase Gals and who we are before we get started. So, Suitcase Gals was co-founded Leslie Coleman and myself, and it is small group travel for women 40 and over. And we take you to places that are phenomenal, like Croatia, right? We have a lot of really amazing trips that are calendared for 2023 and 24. We also have some already on the calendar for 25. And our trips, what makes our trips a little bit different is we are smaller groups so that we can travel together and immerse and really get into the destinations that we're visiting. And Leslie, did you have a little anything to kind of share about Suitcase Gals as well?
Yeah, we just returned from our Scotland trip, and it's a testament to the ladies who come on this trip. They really, form friendships, create bonds, and they all interact in different ways. But everybody has a great time, and it's kind of a life-changing experience for a lot of people.
Yeah, agreed. And I find, and Leslie, you can tell me if I'm incorrect, but when women do travel together, the next trip, they're like, oh, what's the next trip? Let's all go together and then we build more on top of that. And
Yeah, we really have a lot of repeat travelers, and that's really great.
awesome. Very nice. And what makes it really easy is we provide all of the logistics for the trip. So, accommodations, your tours while you're on travel, your transfers, you're and a tour leader. So, either Leslie, myself, or another tour leader, Laura, will actually host the tours and come along with you so that you have nothing to think about. You just basically pack your bags and get going. So it's seamless, and you should really think about joining us on our next adventure. But to be cognizant of everybody's time, I am going to now, Sandra, I think we can get into exploring Croatia and hearing a little bit more about it and what we are looking forward to in October.
Absolutely. So, one more time, hello, everybody. I'm Sandra Radovic, and I'm with Adventures Croatia. I was born and raised in Croatia, and I moved to United States a few years ago. Hence the accent. I'm sorry. Deal with it. So, I guess the first question is, what is Croatia, or maybe even better, where is Croatia? So, Croatia is a relatively small country. It has less than 4 million people, and it's on the Adriatic Sea, Mediterranean area. In terms of where it is, I guess it's a little bit hard to say because it feels like it's a little bit on a crossroad of Central Europe, South Europe, and also Eastern Europe. It's so, long story short, try to envision Europe, map of Europe. Try to imagine where is Italy. There you go. Croatia is right next to it. We actually share the sea border with them. And I would say that this crossroads make this country super, super, super interesting because you don't have only one culture. You have a mixture of so many culture from Austria, Hungary, Italy, even Turkey. especially because of history. But anyways, I would say again, Croatia is a super small country. Uh, Croatia is also part of one of the most successful, I would say, lately countries, or at least coming, upcoming countries, because Croatia is part not only of Schengen area, but NATO and European Union, and I think only 15 countries in total managed to achieve all that. So, yeah, I would say currency, for all of you who are already probably wondering, is euro, and the capital city is Zagreb. But for this adventure, you will kind of skip it simply because you are going on Adriatic adventure. You will be on the coast and you will see plenty of actually, I would say familiar places, especially if you're into movies. You're going to see later what I'm talking about. So I think we can move forward. There you go. Seeing Croatia for the first time is a very life-changing experience. When it comes to the history, maybe you even remember it. Maybe some older generation from Yugoslavia, that will probably ring a bell. Yugoslavia stopped existing uh, in the early 90s. And since then, Croatia really wanted to move forward and get close to the West as much as you can. And I think we're pretty much there. It's extremely peaceful country. It's actually one of the most peaceful country you'll ever hear about. So I guess we can talk about that a little bit after. I think we have some nice video here, so I think we can start with that, and we can then continue. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so this would be, oh, oopsie. There we go. Next. So this brings us basically to Adventures Croatia and what we are about. So Adventures Croatia started about, I would say now about 15 years ago when Pamela, our manager, let's say, she loved to travel the world and also on her own as a woman. And she actually does have some Croatian roots, so she went to explore the country. And even though she loved the country, she obviously fell in love with it. She noticed that there is a need for um, there was not something provided for her in a way how Americans like to travel. So she basically started this company, and I'll explain to you what I mean by that. As you can see, this is just a small portion of the country, and all of those red dots are the spots you are going to see. But Croatia has about almost 12,000 islands, and it's a little bit frustrating to going from one to another. For example, the reason why clients often reach to us is because um, it's hard to plan. It's hard going from an island to an island, knowing what's most convenient, figuring all of those logistics. It's much harder when you actually try. Even I, who actually visited pretty much all of those places, they are even titled on the map. It's still a little bit of a headache sometimes to figure out the perfect itinerary, but that's what we specialize in. Gurvi rather said that she will be leading this group, and she will make sure that everything goes seamlessly. But I would also add that even Gurvinder is not alone. What we specialize in again is American type of travel. You will be taken care of from the moment you land to the moment you take off. So all of the luxurious 4 and 5 star hotels, accommodations, private transportations, entrance tickets, and so on. Guri again will be there. But even in case there's any kind of emergency, such as lost luggage, delayed flight, broken foot, any type of anything which can cause your trip to go downhill, you don't have to worry about anything because we also have team on the ground in Croatia 24/7. So in case there's any problem, all you need to do is to pick the phone up. They're there. They will help in real time. I'm in United States. Even if you call me, I guess I'll probably be sleeping at that point. So I think it's a nice layer of security to know that whatever, you're never alone in a foreign country. And which kind of also ties to the thing from before. Croatia is always, whenever you look at the statistics, Croatia is one of the safest country on the planet. It's always, I think, among first three. The worst things which usually happen is somebody robs ATM or something like that, and that really adds a lot to it when you know that you can even have a few drinks and you can return by yourself as a woman at 2 in the morning, just wandering through the town and getting to your hotel. I never even understood that that could be an issue until I started traveling the world. For me, it was normal to just go on a party at 3 in the morning, have earphones in my ears, and just walk around. The I to this day, I think I never had any bad experience other than, I guess, rain. But anyways, this is your itinerary. Long story short, well, you will be landing is Split. You will spend there a first few days. You will be based there, and through those days, you will see more of the northeast from Split. You will see Krka National Park, and you will see Hvar Island, and later down the road, you will, of course, reach Dubrovnik and even see Kotor, which is Montenegro country, neighbor country, but more on that later. So this is a quick recap of your trip. Day one, October 11, you will arrive to your hotel. And for this day, we did not plan anything but leisure time. We figured you'll travel long hours from probably all around United States. You will be tired, so let's just take it easy for that day. Of course, the hotel is super close to all of the important areas, so you can, of course, go and stretch your legs if you feel like it. Um, and yeah, and then your adventure starts. Next day, more leisure time, but before that, you will have private walking tour of the Old Town Split with a private English-speaking guide, and a guide will take you through the Diocletian Palace. Diocletian was a Roman, well, emperor who lived about 500 years after Christ, and he is the first one who actually decided on his own to retire. So this palace was actually his, let's just call it retirement home, even though it was a palace. In matter of fact, it's so big that people nowadays live in it. He also was not a big fan of Christians, which is kind of funny because later on, when Christians, uh, 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 came on the world stage, let's say, they actually built a church in one of his towers, and since again this palace is so big, to this day you have people who live in it, and it's kind of interesting. It's literally a town built within a palace, and I'm sure your guide will tell you much more about that. I cannot, I guess, spoil the whole trip. So next day, nature first, culture then nature, I guess. You will have a full private full day excursion from Split to Kirka National Park and Šibenik. Kirka National Park, as you can see on the picture, it's not that big, but it's also very charming. You will see the waterfalls. Unfortunately, you cannot really swim in there, but other than that, you can also pick your own trail. There's long hikes, heavy hikes, but also, those short, easy ones. So I think it's great that you can pick how you want to spend those few hours. You will also have plenty of shops, plenty of gelatos and such. You can have a nice meal there. And then later on the way back from Kirka National Park to Split, you will stop in Šibenik. Um, Šibenik is very special, I would say. I think it's the only town in Croatia who was actually built by Croatians. Everything else was built by Venetians, Romans, Hungarians. Who else is in that area, I guess? But Šibenik is the first one, I think, which was built by Croatians. You will have some time there to explore, also to have wonderful meals. And that's pretty much the end of that day. Again, in the evening, you will reach Split and you have your leisure time and maybe some dinner, exploring the town more, and so on. Next day, you will actually go to Hvar Island. Hvar Island is actually the sunniest island in the whole Europe. They have the oldest communal theater in Europe, and it actually still works. You can enter if you want. I think there's a little bit fee on the entrance tickets, but other than that, you can actually see it on the picture. Um, Hvar is also very famous for its wine. So, and also my personal favorite olive oil comes from there. So I encourage you to buy some souvenirs for sure. You will have private guided tour of the old town, and as I just mentioned, you will have Hvar wine tasting tour. So you will hear more about history of that town. Well, rather island. Um, and in the evening again, Hvar is an island, so you will go back with hydrofall to the Split. By the way, those rides and sails are quite short, like not even an hour. So no worries, you won't spend hours. Even if somebody is seasick, is prone to seasickness, keep in mind that the Croatian sea, I mean, Croatia is a very small country with so many islands. You will be fine. The waves are usually quite okay, and people tend not to have problem of that kind. Next day, you are heading from Split to Dubrovnik. But before that, you will stop on Pelješac Peninsula. And what is on Pelješac Peninsula? Small, well, not island, but small town of Stone. Now you see some big wall up there on the hill. It's actually the second largest, longest, or well, largest wall on the planet. Of course, the first one is the one in China. You can hear lots about history here. But what will probably interest you the most is the oyster harvesting experience. So this place is also very famous for its oysters. You will, on the way to the from Split to Dubrovnik, it's about 3 hours. Literally midway, it's this local, super small producer with his oyster farm, where not only you will have light lunch, literally on the way again from Split to Dubrovnik, but you will also have the opportunity to not to taste those mussels and oysters, but you will see the process. You see how they started, and I think it's just generally wonderful experience. We often offer this to our clients because even those who are not that interested in oysters, this family is so amazing and this whole experience is so fun. So even if you don't eat oysters, um, it's whenever we ask our clients what was the best thing there, like if you have to say like few things, oyster farm always comes among first three. So I would say that you can expect a lot from that one for sure. I personally visited, and I mean, I have to agree, one of the most favorite experiences for me as well. Yes, in the evening you will of course reach Dubrovnik, and again you will have whole day of travel and also oysters and so on. So you will, once you arrive in Dubrovnik, leisure time. You can of course stretch your legs, explore your town on your own. It's relatively small. You shouldn't have any issues, of course. And then the next day, after you're well rested, you will have a private trip, round trip to the old town of Dubrovnik. You will have a private guided tour of the old town. You can, and then you will have the whole day for yourself. You can also do the cable car, which can gives you amazing views, but also you can walk the walls. And if this looks oddly familiar, this is because the Game of Thrones was filmed there, among other movies. You will see this place quite often in the background. Even I think Succession, this recently very famous show, I think there are a couple of scenes from Croatia as well, quite interesting. um yeah, Dubrovnik was actually a republic for quite a while, and Venice really did not like it because they were, I guess, very strong competitors. More on that, you will certainly hear from the guide. And then next day, uh, one of the very special ones, I would say, especially for me, because again, I was born and raised in Croatia and I've seen Dubrovnik and so on. But Montenegro is actually a neighbor country. What's uh, fun about Kotor, which is a small town, small bay rather, close to Dubrovnik, is like I think it's less than 2 hours for sure, right there, and you will have the whole day there. I personally perceive Kotor as a younger, smaller, and more modest brother of Dubrovnik. It's very interesting to see, and also keep in mind that Croatia is predominantly Roman Catholic, while Montenegrians, by the way, they do use euro. Um, they are Eastern Orthodox, and even though the language is the same, it's pretty much like a different dialect. But don't tell them that. Um, it's I think it's very interesting to see different culture, so similar but yet different. Especially if you enter churches, you will, for example, notice that there is no chairs. They have to stand while they pray, and a bunch of little differences, I think, make really spice things up a little bit. I think I mean, I personally enjoyed Montenegro a lot. You will have private guided tour, and of course leisure time. Um, and then on day 8, you will have more time in Dubrovnik, which you can spend again leisure time. This is also the day that I would recommend if you haven't done the Dubrovnik city walls or a cable car. You can do that. You can also do kayaking around the walls. You can also do museums. You can, and by the way, museums in Croatia are relatively cheap, like a few dollars, literally. You can also take um, ferries to various small islands around, such as even National Park Mljet. You can literally buy tickets on a spot and go. This is like your day, and you can do whatever you like. If there's more interested in what would we like to do, once the trip approaches, I'll be more than happy to give you suggestions. And then, kind of last but not the least, day 9. Again, you're still in Dubrovnik, but this is the day that you will have group cooking classes in a region of Konavle, which is super close to Dubrovnik. And this is in a property owned by a Croatian family who will teach you how to make Croatian food in a very traditional, very old fashioned way under the bell. It's quite interesting. It's a little bit like slow cook, but then again, not really. It's called peka. Um, and we purposely put this for the last day as a last supper type of a thing. I think it's a good way that you all hang out and you just round the trip up. And last but not the least, of course, last day is, well, bon voyage. You will hopefully have your things packed, and we will drive you to the airport. And this is pretty much the end when it comes to the trip, or just chapter 1. I would dare to say.
I was
Of
going to
course,
say,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. This is just such a tiny part of the country. There's so much more, and we didn't even touch upon, let's say, Istrian part, northern coast, which is about 2 hours from Venice. So you can also add Venice and Croatian part, and also Slovenia. So that's also a beautiful thing about Croatia. It's on the crossroad of all these cultures, but since it's such a small area, everything is super close. In a few hours, you can be in Austria, Slovenia, Italy, Hungary, Bosnia, Serbia, Montenegro, obviously, and so on and so on.
it's a great thought if you want to extend the trip a little bit too, right? But
Absolutely.
thank you so much. My gosh, those were some phenomenal little things of what we're little. I think they're little snippets of what we're going to do. There's so
Mhm.
much more to the trip, but you can't say it all in one, meetup here. Can you tell me a little bit about what the weather's like in October when we're going?
So I would say the peak of the summer season in Croatia are usually July and August, but we are literally talking about those crazy, crazy, crazy temperatures. For example, like in American South.
Hmm.
But what uh, we notice that most of our clients tend to travel either June or September, because that's off shoulder of the season, and same goes for October. So if anybody is familiar, it's relatively similar to Italy. I would say it dress in layers. It definitely won't be cold. Some people still even swim, but it is a bit more prone to to rain. It's like beginning of, it's kind of right between summer and fall. So you can expect that some people still swim, those more braver ones, um, much well braver than me for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
So lots of
yeah,
layers
I would say
would be
layers. I
great.
would say the way I would dress in October most often in Croatia is like early in the morning, some light jacket,
Yep.
and during the day, like short sleeves actually.
Okay. Excellent. And Leslie, do we have any questions that you see on the? I think you're muted there.
I don't think your mic is on.
Oh yeah, your mic is off. Sorry.
Oops.
No worries.
I'm not sure if our viewers know that they can ask questions while they're watching this. So if anybody does have any questions, please feel free to type them in and we'll take a look at them. If for some reason you don't want to do that, you can certainly email us at suitcasegals@gmail.com and we can get the answers back to you.
Perfect. And I did have another question. What are, if you, for souvenirs, what is something that you shouldn't leave Croatia without?
That's an interesting one, but I would say definitely wine, olive oil. For example, especially when you are on Hvar and in Split as well, you will probably notice many souvenirs like from very white stone. And what is interesting about that is this stone is coming from Brač Island, and actually White House is built from that one. That's why it's so white, funnily enough. Um, Lavender, Hvar, the island you are going to visit, is actually very famous for its lavender.
Mm,
Hvar is also that's also where I recommend you buy uh, um, olive oil and wine.
okay.
And I'm sure your guides will tell you that as well.
Excellent.
Yeah, I would say those type of things. If you are interested, I guess, in more expensive types of souvenirs, maybe something invented by Croatians. For example, I remember when me and my husband were, well, at the time still dating, but I bought him a necktie, because Croatians actually invented it. It's a very famous thing in Croatia. We actually are named by necktie, funnily
Hmm,
enough.
interesting.
Pens are also invented by Croatians, so you will find quite expensive pens, literally, because they're again invented by Slavoljub and Kala. Yeah, things like that. I'm sure when once you walk around, you will definitely see. And I would also say chocolate as well.
Nice.
Chocolate, truffles. Yeah, more on that side for sure.
Always ready for something sweet.
Yeah, for sure. Chocolates for
Excellent.
sure. Yeah,
Well, thank you so much, Sandra. We really appreciate you being here today.
Absolutely.
It was
absolutely.
very nice of you to share and take us on a tour through Croatia. We're super excited for our October trip. And anyone who is on the fence and really needs to speak to somebody about this, please reach out to myself or Leslie. We're here to answer any questions, to register and secure your spot, because we are taking deposits as of now. You can definitely take a look at our trip at suitcasegals.com, and the registration form is located there or on Meetup. And we do have single and double rooms available. So please reach out. The deadline for deposits is approaching fast and quickly. So we would love to have you join us and let us know if there's anything else any other questions that you have for us.
Absolutely. And definitely don't forget that this is Adventurous Croatia, and we do specialize in very high end and luxurious. So you will be pampered. You will be pampered from the moment you land to the moment you take off. Beautiful accommodations. We inspect everything once or twice a year. Private drivers. Everybody who gets in touch with you will speak English. So y- basically, once you're there, all you need to do is to just relax, and we will take care of everything. On you is just to enjoy.
Awesome. You just put the bow on top of the box. I love
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Who doesn't want to relax on vacation?
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
the last thing you want is once you're there that you worry, oh my God, where is the hotel? Where is the meeting point? Oh, I forgot this. Oh, I forgot,
Yeah.
things happen. You cannot control life, but that's why we are there to actually give you peace of mind.
Excellent. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining. And we're looking forward to our trip in October. And we're looking forward to having you join us on this adventure.
Absolutely. Have
Take
a good
care,
one.